Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is Dean, or as most of you know me, Twisty, and today I'm joined by Trent Cochin. Trent, what's going on? Okay. Today, everyone, we're going to be returning to our thing, our career mode or season mode of AFL Round 1. Now, you'll notice that the first match here is actually a different score to what we had last week, and the reason for that is because I don't know what actually happened. It just, for some reason my save didn't save, and Richmond plays Collingwood in round 2 again. Oh, that's what's coming up this week. That's a bit ironic. I think that's convenient too. So I'm going to be talking about another issue today that I spotted a couple of weeks ago. Someone posted about it in the comments, and it was the night grand final. So once we get in, I'm going to be talking about that. So everyone, we're playing a night game. This is actually coming up this Friday night. Is Richmond taking on Collingwood. I think it's a Collingwood home game, although there'll probably still be more Richmond supporters there because we always seem to manage to outnumber Collingwood at the games we play them at. And it's sort of like the battle of the injured teams. Is that Connor Menadue in there for the toss? Oh, that's hilarious. Anyway. Let's talk about a potential night twilight grand final time slot because it's been a little bit talked about lately, and they confirmed the grand final this year is going to be obviously on the still a daytime slot, but it's not moving to that twilight slot yet because they were potentially going to do that this year. They're potentially going to do a night grand final this season, and I didn't think it was a terrible idea. I didn't think it was a bad idea, but I would prefer to have a day grand final, and here's a couple of reasons why. So the first reason is that I think the night, everyone compares it to something like the Super Bowl, which is on a much larger scale. That like Australia would be lucky to get about 3 or 4 million people actually watch the grand final, the AFL grand final. And then, something like the Super Bowl gets watched by like 100+ million people at least. Like probably 1 billion people watch the Super Bowl, I don't know. But a lot of people watch the Super Bowl. It's just a huge scale audience compared to the Australian rules football. And so obviously there's like things like budget involved, so they're not going to get the best entertainment that the world has to offer. We're not American. We can't just grab all these American artists. We prefer to see Australian artists as well at these events. So I think that's probably one thing is people try to focus on the spectacle more than the actual game itself. And if you do that and you don't focus on the game, what you might get is a night grand final where it either rains or it's a dewy grand final. The ball's really slippery. And it's just not going to be as high quality as a day grand final, that's just my opinion. Is as soon as it gets to night time, the ball gets dewy, and it just doesn't make for as clean football as we might want to see in a grand final. And that's really my number one argument here. Is I don't want to see a dewy grand final that's scrappy. I'd rather see something that's nice, free flowing during the day, and then you can do your after show, I guess, which is what they've been doing the last couple of years, just having performances after the grand final once it hits nighttime. So that's really what I'm just about arguing. I think the twilight grand final will probably be alright, because it would only just fade into night, as it's ending, and then you could have fireworks at night. But yeah, I just think the day grand final looks so much better, and then you always go over for a barbecue or something, whereas if you put it at night, it'll probably finish, the earliest you'd have to start at 7 o'clock at night, so then it would finish at 10. It just wouldn't, I don't think it would work. I think the reality is we can't knock it until we try it though, and given how long ago it's been since there was a night grand final, I think it was at Victoria Park or something in the very, I don't know, at least 30-40 years ago. Now, we can't compare that to what we might potentially see in a modern day night grand final, whether or not it is going to be as dewy as like a scrappy affair, or if we're actually going to get a good, decent game with, you know, the crowds going nuts, 100,000 people there. I think the MCC members would just be annoyed because then they'd still have to line up at like 6 a.m. to get a spot at the game. But yeah, it's a very tough one. Another thing too that people need to look at is obviously the TV. They think that the ratings would go up in terms of nighttime. But what would that mean for other countries, you know? That is a miraculous goal. Like, they always say the TV networks are always trying to push for a night grand final because they're saying it's better in terms of ratings, but that could just be night games throughout the season. Grand finals might get better ratings with the day grand final. I guess not as many people are at work. If you have a night grand final, I remember a grand final a couple of years ago. I was actually working on that day and I didn't realise that it was grand final day. So I had to end up changing my shift to finish an hour early so I could actually get home just in time to watch the grand final. But yeah, it's just one of those things where you can either love it or you don't want it. But the NRL, they do a night grand final. I tuned in like right at the end. It was the only thing on TV that night, I think, and I saw the missed kick, the missed field goal or whatever it is, the missed penalty kick, and then I saw obviously the game-winning goal. Those were the two things that I saw. But apart from that, I didn't really tune in. Griffiths has a groin injury. No. But yeah, like I didn't really watch the halftime entertainment, so I can't really comment on whether or not that was any better or worse than the Australian grand final entertainment. It's just I did watch the Super Bowl though, and they were very good in their entertaining show. But this is just on a mass scale with, you know, hundreds and hundreds of people involved in, you know, just putting together this show. Whereas Australia, they're just like, oh, here's an artist, let's play them, and they can do whatever. They can just play their tunes. You know, we don't need to put on this massive charade, I guess is what the difference is. I guess this is kind of like a little podcast forum. You know, what I'm talking about now. I can just like generalize about a topic a little bit and give you my thoughts and views on that topic. Try to be too smart with that kick. But another thing I've wanted to touch on is just to say thank you to everyone because I hit 4,000 subscribers a couple of days ago. I had my birthday party stream yesterday. It was amazing. It was awesome. There was so many fresh faces on my live stream. We had 80-something people watching at one time, thanks to the host from 64 Bytes. It was just really, really amazing to see all these people there and you know, just having a good time too. I think that was probably the best thing about that stream was just that everyone was, you know, there was a few people there just because I was giving away things, and I was like, oh, I'm okay with that, you know, but you know, then people stayed around. They stuck around for the fun because it was a lot of fun, and if you're not having fun on a stream, like, then obviously I'm not doing my job right, and I'm just letting it down. Jesus, this game is so easy. I'm just thinking, boy, this is on Legend, on Extreme, and it's just so simple. Just click clearance. No, Lambert's done a hamstring. Well, that'll be my downfall, is everyone getting injured. But a Richmond v Collingwood this Friday night. Boy, it's going to be a big clash. Injured players everywhere, suspended players for Collingwood, and still side bottom. No, everyone's doing their shoulder. And Lloyd is just being unstoppable. He was superb in the last quarter against Carlton. Kicked probably close to the goal of the year. Early goal of the year contender. Oh, runs out with the ball. Yeah, it's going to be a good game on Friday night, I reckon. This kid Townsend, he is a jet. Maybe not the quickest puck on the field, but he can get it off. Yes! But he's very hard. He is extraordinarily hard. Always comes off with a blood rule. He's 3 for 3. In 3 games, he's come off with the blood rule 3 times. So it's just one of those guys that just always put themselves out there on the line. But let me know what you guys think about the night grand final. Would you prefer to see a twilight grand final, a night grand final, or a day grand final? Personally, I mean, I'd like to see a twilight grand final, maybe even a night grand final, but I just don't know how well it would go. That's my thing. It's just whether or not the game would be as big as everything around it. If they try to turn it into something that it's not, if they try to put on too big of a show rather than actually focusing on the football itself, then I think that's where they'll lose people, and that's where I'll get a bit disappointed with how it goes. Yeah, and Collingwood can actually score the last 2 goals of the game. But no, it's Travis Collick, so that was never going to happen. Big win, 63 points. Pretty happy. And I will see you guys later.